Could you please confirm that my audio is...
Meghna, I think there's a problem with the audio. You might have to repeat it. It's live now.
Sure, should I start from the beginning?
One second.
Okay, apologies for the technical error. This is Murphy's Law. And we're glad we got that over with. So I'm going to start right from the top. I'm not sure to what part I've been cut off, but warm welcome to all of you. Warm welcome of the program for PEAK, the certification program on economics and sustainability by PEAK. PEAK is an initiative of MPN Systems Advisory Private Limited. A quick introduction about us. We are a niche energy and environmental consultancy and advisory firm established in 2012. So we work with private sector, multilateral, financial institutions, philanthropies, academia, both in India and globally. We advise several institutions as far as clean energy, transport, agriculture, air quality is concerned. We are very excited to get started on today's session. On your YouTube live, there is a chat window, and we request all of you to please put in all your questions here. By this point, I hope all of you have had a chance to register for the program and have access to both the website and the Slack channels. I am Meghna, a project director at MPN Systems. The objective of today's session is to discuss what the objective of the program is and also to take a few questions here. So before we get started, I think it's very important for us to acknowledge that with COVID-19 in the past couple of months, a lot has changed for everybody. We definitely hope all of you are well and safe. What this also means is that the world is trying to figure out new ways and more efficient ways to do a lot of things, and that includes studying, understanding, and learning. At this point, it also becomes imperative for us to become a lot more conscious about the way we do things, the way we live, the way we consume, the way we travel, the way we eat, the way we pretty much live our lives. So this program has been curated by PEAK to give students an insight into the world of sustainability and a lot of real world challenges that you may have heard about, but have not had an opportunity to actually get into the depth of. This program is meant for students across various disciplines and fields. So in addition to a lot of content like reports and publications and articles, you will also have access to experts who have been in this field for many years and decades, in fact. So in this particular PEAK certification program, we are looking at three main topics: logistics and agriculture, sustainable energy systems, and public transport post-COVID. Towards the end of the program, there will also be a multiple choice question exam that you will have to take, post which you will also make a submission about your proposal. Based on your score, you will be awarded a certificate to pass from MPN Systems Advisory Private Limited. Please do log on to our LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook pages if you haven't done so far. So let's start today's session with a quick overview of the website itself. I am quickly sharing my screen here. Can I request my colleagues to please confirm that they can see my screen? Thank you. Great. So this is the PEAK website that I'm sure all of you have access to so far. If you don't, again, please do go to the Slack channel and put in your queries there. So this webpage basically gives you an overview of what the certification program is, what is the benefit that this has for students such as yourselves, and what are we trying to do through this entire certification programs. As mentioned earlier, there are three main topics that we are looking at. One is creating a business plan to improve logistics in consumer-supported agriculture in India. The second is a business pitch for solar PV power systems. And the third is an analysis to relaunch public transport system post COVID. Now, each of these topics are very vast and varied, but we have tried to give you an overview of the topic while going into some amount of detail. Now, on the website, if you click on these arrows, you will see a background about the topic, a little more detail into the problem statement that you would be required to solve as a part of this certification program. It gives you an insight about the kind of resources that are available to you to actually help you solve these problems. And it will tell you what is the basis for evaluation in order to actually see the certification. We are honored that we have several eminent mentors who are a part of our jury on this peak certification program. Each one of them comes with years of experience and qualification as far as specific programs are concerned. So we are definitely honored that they are a part of this program. The second tab that you will see here is called the resources tab. So this is a list of the reports and the publications that you have access to in order to complete your proposal and in order to just read for your interest. There are several resources here, and we understand that you may not be able to read all of them. But what we have done is there are small brief descriptions about the reports that you will see here. Once you do come to a point where you have chosen the topic of your interest, we encourage you to go through these, read the descriptions, and identify the reports and documents that are more relevant to you. This will help you in a better understanding of the subject and also help you in submitting your proposal for the peak certification. The next tab that you have here is the events tab. So here you will see a lot of the events that you will be a part of in the next 2 weeks. In addition to this calendar, which we will be updating in a little bit, you will also get emails about the event so that you don't miss any of these sessions. We do understand that a lot of these YouTube live sessions may conflict with some of your existing plans, but please be reassured that all of the YouTube live sessions will be recorded and you will have access to those sessions at a later point as well. Great. So I think now let's move to the most exciting part of today's live session, which is our conversation with our expert. Before we get started, I'm proud to introduce Dr. Mahesh Patankar. He is the founder and the managing director of MPN Systems. Dr. Patankar has over 28 years of experience in energy efficiency, renewable energy, clean transport, sustainable agriculture, and water. He has undertaken projects around the world in India, South and Southeast Asia, Europe, South Africa, and South America. He has worked as a consultant, as an individual, and as a firm with the World Bank Group, ADB, and a number of other multilateral and bilateral funding agencies, including philanthropic organizations. Thank you very much for joining us today, Dr. Mahesh. And we have students from across the country who have joined us today, and we can't wait to get started.
Great. Glad to be here, Meghna. I hope I'm audible enough to all the students.
Yes, I think we can hear you well, and thank you so much. So let's get started right away. So before we get into the questions, one quick question from my side is, what were your thoughts when you launched Peak, and how do you think this is relevant to students of today, and more importantly, relevant to today's times?
Right. So the PEAK primarily stands for Portal for Environmental Analytics and Knowledge. And we live in an era where economics and the environment need to go hand in hand. So we cannot imagine a situation where we have no pollution impact on the environment because of the industries which generate jobs, which contribute to the gross domestic product of the country and all the well-being sort of features of the economy. So we cannot really do any kind of development without environmental degradation, but we can certainly protect the environmental degradation. So if you were to sort of create a career for yourselves in any fraternity, if you're an arts graduate, if you're a commerce graduate, an engineer, doing a BMS course or doing an MBA course from any of the universities in India as well as abroad, I'm sure you will come into the job market. And one of the clear feature of any kind of job requirement today is the understanding of the environment and the sustainability sector. So some of you must have already heard the terms such as Sustainable Development Goals, which were created by the United Nations, which is a body at the global level, which has partnerships with several countries. So the primary feature of PEAK, we'll use this abbreviation now on, or as PEAK, is essentially to make sure that you understand and appreciate the environmental impacts of everything that we do. That's the first point. The second point is in today's era, we need to have sort of different opportunities open to the students. So if you're an engineer, you'll be surprised that I have several engineering graduates, friends, who have been working as economists in different large organizations, large multilateral banks like the World Bank, Asian Development Bank, and also with some of the government banks, such as Reserve Bank of India, State Bank of India, some of the private sector banks, such as HDFC Bank, and so on. That's the first sort of opportunity. The second opportunity that we see is if you are a commerce graduate or an arts graduate. Again, I have several friends who are working for core engineering firms, those who are involved in creating large infrastructure. So today, the knowledge and your bachelor's level degree is sort of one starting point. That gives you the direction in which you need to study. It gives you some kind of core competencies and so on. But the career that you can choose can be anything. So you'll be surprised to know that one of my first bosses when I started working was a hardcore engineer. I'm an engineer. But when I started sort of progressing my own career, I realized that there were several economists who were sort of guiding me and mentoring me in the process of sustainability, energy sector, transportation sector, agriculture sector, environment sector, water sector. So today it's important for us to bridge the gap between the businesses, economics, and the sustainability. And here I'm referring to the sustainability of environment as well as the business resilience and the business sustainability. So that's the motivation to launch this kind of a certification initiative through the portal for environmental analytics and knowledge. Meghna?
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Mahesh. I think it's overwhelming to see the kind of support that we have gotten and the interest that we have seen. And as you mentioned, integrating a lot of the sustainability angle into anything anyone does, whether it's a student or a professional, is going to be very important. We have a question from Amrit Bhattacharji. If a person has a limited understanding of economics, can they still be a part of this program, or do you need to have prior knowledge about anything, any of these topics?
Yeah. So I think one trick in learning anything is basically to unlearn what you already know. I think that's the fundamental of getting into any kind of learning environment. So even if you do not know anything related to economics, I think this is an opportunity for you to learn from the experts that we have. You'll have several live sessions as well as recorded and the YouTube premiering that you'll see on different topics. So our job here is to sort of walk you through and give you an opportunity to learn new topics during the coming couple of weeks. And even beyond that, we encourage all the students to be in touch with us. If there is a particular topic that you would like to see a certification course curated, we are here to work with you, student community, as well as early stage professionals to encourage you and to sort of empower you to learn new topics. So the clear answer is that even if you do not have any background in economics, or a few others may have a different kind of a question, that if you do not have any background in electrical engineering, or if you do not have any background in agricultural economics or in transportation services, you still can take this certification course. We purposely have kept it simple enough. This is not an entrance exam for an IIM or IIT. What we are trying to do here is basically to make you job ready, so that when you face the interviews, when you go into the job market, you should be able to answer the questions related to sort of interdisciplinary nature of the business and the environment that we see today. Meghna?
Thank you. So we have another question from Asra. Hi, I'm a working professional. Am I still eligible for this program?
Asra, this is a very interesting question. My clear answer is yes. Frankly, if some other organization or my other partner organizations launched a similar certification program, and if I have some time at hand, I will definitely take the opportunity to enroll for this and go through the certification process. So everybody is welcome, and there is, frankly telling you, there is no age for learning. I know quite a few individuals who have started their PhD initiatives at the age of 60, 65. So there is no limit, there is no age requirement for any kind of learning opportunity. So Asra, you're welcome, and so are all others who are working professionals, your friends, and so on. Meghna?
Thank you. We have a question from Meghla Mitra. Uh, Meghla has just passed the 12th boards and the college admissions are delayed due to the pandemic. Are they eligible? And we also have a similar question from Amrit Bhattacharjee saying that they have just finished their 10th standard and they want to take part as well. So can they join this course?
Absolutely. So, Meghla and Amrit, you are welcome. And I can guarantee you that you probably may score 100% compared to if I took this same exam myself. Because what you are currently, the age at which you are hungry to learn things. So, I think this is a great opportunity for you to use this lean period wherein you just completed your 10th standard. And then, in fact, I would be really happy if you can take this message back to your family, your friends, your relatives, your prospective teachers, and I'm sure they'll be also very happy for the added knowledge that you have. So it's up to you how much you want to deep dive. But again, we are here to mentor you. Please do send us questions on Slack channel as well as send us emails on peak@infinsystems.com, and we'll be glad to walk you through any doubts that you may have. So absolutely, you're welcome. If you want to encourage your other friends and so on from your school or even your seniors from the school, please do send them the link to register. I think the registration link is going to be open till tomorrow as well. So welcome again. Meghna?
Thank you. We have a question from Murli Avula from Pondicherry University. So, what kind of job opportunities as an MBA student can I expect by doing a course like this?
Yeah, this is absolutely good sort of question. Abdullah, I think you are staying in Puducherry. Puducherry is supposed to be, I would say, a mecca of everything related to sustainability. You might have heard of Oroville campus, which does a lot of efforts and takes a lot of efforts to promote sustainability. So after your MBA course, you have several opportunities. You may be able to even join certain power sector firms, some transportation corporations, some logistics firms, some banks, and so on. And whenever you are in those jobs, you would be able to use the knowledge that you'll gain through this course. Let me give you an example. Let's assume that you go and join, let's say, a Future Group or Reliance Fresh or Tata Star in their logistics department. If you have heard anything and learned anything from the community supported agriculture, which is one of the topics here, I'm sure you'll be able to sort of contribute a lot better in your prospective job assignment and also deal with the farmers from whom some of these large formats purchase their produce in a lot more empathetic way. So I think definitely if you're MBA student, if you go into the logistics companies, this will benefit you. Let's look at another scenario. If you join a bank, I'm sure as a banker, you probably will become like a relationship manager, or if you get into investment banking, you'll get into the process of evaluating different types of project proposals. So for those project proposals, again, you would definitely have some kind of a better concept in your own mind related to consumer supported agriculture, or if you get a proposal from an industry on solar photovoltaic, I'm sure you should be able to sort of deal with that a lot better. Or if you have other clients from the commercial and industrial consumer base, as a banker and as a friend of your consumers and your customers, you would be able to empower your own customers to look at the possibility of them installing solar photovoltaic systems to reduce their factor cost of production. So obviously, after MBA, if you have this added knowledge, I'm sure you should be able to use this added knowledge in your job interviews, in the campus placements, even if you are going to appear for any kind of other competitive examinations, such as if you want to become an IAS, I'm sure some of this knowledge also would come handy there. If you want to do your PhD or go outside India to study further, or even for your job assignments, I'm sure all of this knowledge will come handy.
Thank you.
Meghna?
Thank you. So we have two questions from Subrat Kumar Mohanty. One is, how do you initiate the assignments, and a little about the entire procedure? And second, if they do actually fail short of the required criterion, is there any chance for him to restart the entire program?
Right. So I think my colleague Meghna just walked you through the entire process of enrollment and so on. And we believe the entire thing that you see on peakglobal.live is self-explanatory. But beyond that, even if you have any further questions related to the procedures and so on, please feel free to flag those questions to us. So we would be able to sort of address those on the Slack channel for the benefit of everyone. But specifically, what is expected is during the coming 6 to 7 days, you will go through some kind of a live streaming and the premiering of presentations and fireside chat with some of the experts on YouTube. And that will give an opportunity for you to sort of understand how the sector is evolving, emerging, what are the different opportunities, what you need to solve, so on and so forth. And there is a lot of material that has been made available in the resources section on the peakglobal.live website after you register and after you get into the portal itself. So again, some of that material would be useful for you to go through. And towards the end of the session, or I think on the 6th or the 7th, you can see the exact date on the portal itself. You should be able to take some kind of a multiple choice questions, and you'll be judged on the basis of the multiple choice questions. We are also going to give you an opportunity to upload your presentation and also upload your video link. So you can just record something for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, your understanding, and so on. That's not mandatory. What is mandatory in this certification course is the uploading of the multiple choice question answers. And you will see that link as we get closer to the conclusion of this particular process. The second question that you asked was, if you fall short, can you retake the exam? I think the way we are set it up during this stage and during this phase is that you probably won't be able to retake the exam. But as peak, we intend to launch at least 50 more topics during the coming year for the certification. So in short, you will have an opportunity to again enroll for this free certification course, which you see right now, and you should be able to take sort of another attempt. But don't bring those negative thoughts in your mind. If you go through some of the documents that we have shared, I'm sure you should be able to do well in the multiple choice questions. So good luck to you and everyone else on the call here. Meghna?
Thank you. There are a couple of questions here which have already been addressed, but I'll just quickly read them out. Prince Kumar Paswan, is the course free? As Dr. Mahesh mentioned, yes, the course is free. We had a question from Mr. Biswadeep Acharya about whether it's going to be daily live sessions. So I think that's been addressed, that it's going to be a combination of live, YouTube, Premiere, and a lot of information available as well. Arijit Chatterjee has a question. We have to work on only one of the three topics, right?
That's correct. So we expect you to work on one of the three topics. But after the course, if you're interested in still appearing for the multiple choice questions, as organizers, we'll think about making the multiple choice questions for the other topics open to everyone. But we don't want you to feel overwhelmed during the formal process of the certification. So what we expect you to do is appear only for one out of the three topics. But we would encourage you to go through the material, the study material, and the premiered YouTube sessions and so on, and these kinds of chats related to all the three topics. So you'll have an option to choose. You'll have options to choose from. So go through the material that's available for all the three topics, and towards the end of the session, you can choose one which you like the most or you dislike the most, and then sort of take that multiple choice question.
Thank you. We have a question from Anshika Tiwari. They want to understand more about why is the certificate not given to students whose video or the presentation does not secure a 60%.
Yeah, so the way this is going to work out is we have three components of the evaluation, Anshika. First one is the multiple choice question. Second one is the submission of the PowerPoint presentation. And the third part is about uploading the video link. You will be evaluated during this phase only on the basis of you taking the multiple choice question. So if for any reason you are not able to upload the video, don't worry about it. We are just encouraging you to use that kind of a format as well. But you will be evaluated on the basis of completion of the multiple choice questions. So that's the evaluation criteria. And in that, if you score beyond 60%, you will get a certificate from PEAK. I hope that is clear.
Thank you. We have a question from Samantak Saha about, by pursuing this certificate, what sectors do I understand more about and how can I benefit by doing this program? Samantak Saha is from the Calcutta University.
Right. So, in fact, again, a good question. I answered this a little bit during one of the earlier parts of this session. So, you will get exposed to primarily three topics. First and foremost is the community supported agriculture. Second one is solar photovoltaic systems installed by different types of consumers. And the third one is what's going to happen post COVID-19 in the public transportation. And there is a particular reason why we included these three topics. And I think this will answer questions in several other students' minds as well and the participants' minds as well. Let's start with the consumer support agriculture. India is primarily agrarian society. Okay, and then there are a few interesting things that are happening in the field, wherein the opportunities, job opportunities in the city centers and the urbanized sectors are actually going to reduce a little bit. It's quite likely that it will take at least 1 or 2 more years for the Indian economy to bounce back, very similar to the global economy. So in that situation, obviously, there is going to be a lot of emphasis on the agriculture sector and the farming sector. And obviously, farm to the fork, which is the value chain related to making sure that the farmers and those who are involved in that ecosystem of collecting the produce, which is fruits and vegetables, millets, sorghum, and other sort of fundamental sort of grains and so on, that needs to go to the marketplace. So if you look at that value chain of taking that produce to the markets, I think one of the interesting conduit is about the consumer supported agriculture. So you'll understand what are those sort of links. On the resources page, we have included certain blogs that we have written in the past, as well as there is a report related to the efficient food chains, which talks about two sort of bi-directional flow of produce going from the farming sector into the market and the value that gets created going back from the market to the farmers. I think it is absolutely important for us to do something that will help the rural communities and the farmers to maximize their profits, so that that will lead for them to sort of bring up their sort of quality of life, deal with the health impacts that some of the things are creating. So that's what we will learn related to the first topic. Second topic is solar photovoltaic. Globally, several countries and the distribution companies in the electricity markets have taken it upon themselves to promote the use of renewable energy. And you probably must have seen in newspaper items and some of the speeches by the government during the past 10 to 15 years. That actually goes beyond the party lines. The statements which are being made by the Indian legislators, which is about promoting the use of solar photovoltaic and the renewable energy sector. So if you go through the modules related to solar photovoltaic, you'll understand how do you really calculate the benefit cost of using a solar photovoltaic installed on a commercial complex or your individual house, or it installed on the commercial and industrial establishment, or at a utility grade, where the utility would install it on its own and bring that low carbon energy into the power sector. So there are specific efforts being made to sort of understand that. So if you learn that topic, I think you'll understand a little bit more about how the photovoltaic systems are working, what is the benefit cost, how do you actually calculate the benefit cost. So if I understand it correctly, if I remember it correctly, there is also a simple spreadsheet which we have included, which talks about the calculating benefit cost and the net present value. And if that's not there, we will be glad to conduct a specific session on that. So that's the second topic. The third topic relates to what's going to happen to public transportation post COVID-19. And to give you a perspective, not everyone in India can afford a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler and a car. Most of the commuters in the country depend on public transportation. And COVID-19 has actually thrown a very interesting surprise to the users of public transportation, wherein they need to be a lot more careful. So there are several state transport organizations and the intrastate bus operators as well as interstate bus operators who are a little bit conscious about how will they travel in buses. Are the buses safe? So the problem that we are asking you to solve is basically, can you suggest some kind of a standard operating procedures wherein you can say that after every trip is over, there will be some kind of a sanitization that will be done. That is something which is being tried out in New York, Hong Kong, Singapore, Bangkok, Hanoi, and other cities where they depend a lot on the public transportation. So that's an opportunity for you to sort of do some kind of a blue sky thinking. I think learning is about also blue sky thinking. You have to have your theoretical constructs very clear in your own mind, but you should be able to apply that knowledge into that sector. So I think that's about the third part. And what we did was we realized that all of the things that we're talking about requires deep-rooted survey techniques and understanding of the research methodologies. So I think tomorrow we are releasing a particular premiere on YouTube, which will talk about how do we approach a particular problem statement, what kind of surveys we plan, what kind of research techniques and methods we use, what kind of evaluation and the analytical techniques that we use. So that's basically a common session meant for all the three topics. So we encourage all of you to participate in that session as well. And if you have any other questions related to the research methods and how do you really define and how do you create a questionnaire, please do ask those questions on Slack, and our team of mentors and organizers will be glad to answer those. Meghna?
Thank you. Devarapalli Ratna Vikas is planning to study abroad in energy engineering. So he wants to know, how will this certification course help him?
Okay, so Devarapalli, I think it's again interesting question. If you are trying to study energy engineering, I think this portal and all the resources that you see on the portal are good enough material for you to even complete your master's level thesis. So we have that level of information available in the resources. So this will give you an opportunity to do multiple things. Firstly, to understand photovoltaic systems and the benefit cost analysis of including and using renewable energy into the mix. So that's sort of a direct benefit that you can seek from here. That's the first thing. The second thing is even related to the transportation and the consumer supported agriculture. Some of our resource material talks about energy efficiency and using energy efficiently during these supply chains. So I think you will again gain specific know-how related to the energy sector, and you can, I'm sure, apply this sort of added knowledge in your career. So good luck with your aspirational course in the energy management.
Thank you. We have a question from Bhakti Samtani, who's a second-year master's in environmental science from Ferguson College, Pune. Bhakti wants to understand that if they want to take up jobs in sustainability going ahead, how would this course help them?
Right. So this course will give you an opportunity to understand the basics and fundamentals of sustainability, but more importantly, where are we trying to apply it? So in your course at Ferguson, which is a very good college and university, I'm sure you're going through certain modules which define the sustainability and the environmental engineering and environmental science. What this allows you is basically to bring in the business angle and the economics angle to this entire process. So I think this will definitely give you an opportunity to again learn about these three topics. And very interestingly, I think your own super senior is going to give you a lecture tomorrow on research methods. So I think that will allow you an opportunity to understand how do you define the problem statements, how do you deal with those problem statements, what kinds of solutions you create out of those problem statements. So I think this will definitely make you job ready. Imagine after going through these three sessions and all the multiple choice questions. If the interviewers ask you anything related to consumer supported agriculture, solar photovoltaic, or transportation sector, or the public transportation sector, I'm sure you'll be a lot more geared up to answer those questions when you sort of face those interviews. What we have done, everyone, is we have consciously chosen these three topics which are important in today's age. So it's not only a bookish opportunity and bookish knowledge that you'll gain, but you'll also gain an opportunity to solve certain real world problems. So we are actually terming this as real world problems because we run a consultancy company. All of us sort of deal with governments, private sector, and so on. These are the questions that we get asked of the ecosystem. So basically, if you understand these questions, you actually would have an opportunity to delve into some real world problems. And that's what we're trying to bring to you as we speak. Meghna?
Thank you. I think this fits in directly with the question of Ketaki Gaurav, which says it mentions that we're going to solve real world problems. And we're going to come up with innovative solutions. How does this happen, and what should we do? So I think you have perfectly answered this question as well. We have a question from Sai Sandeep about should we choose one topic from the three or do we follow all three? I think this has been covered as well, that you will eventually choose one topic for your final submission. That being said, you have access to the material of all three. So please, if you are interested, feel free to go through it. Yagya Sharma has a question about do we submit our assignment in the form of a Word document? Uh, uh, Dr. May, should I answer that? Or
Please go ahead.
please, okay. Yagya, there will be specific templates that will be uploaded for your submission. So it's a PPT format in which you will have to put in your answers. The template's already been created for you, and that will be submitted and shared with you. You will have to put in your answers and your proposal there. In addition to this, of course, there's an MCQ, the multiple choice questions, for which you will get a link to the form and which you will have to answer it there. Ananya, we see that you have some challenges in terms of registering for the event. We request you to please put this on the Slack channel, and our colleagues will definitely address this soon. Murli Avula wants to know if there is any guidance provided while developing the business plans and the proposals.
Yeah, so Murli, so the guidance you have to sort of, we encourage you to either attend this YouTube Premiere sessions or go through the videos, plus also go through the documents that we have put out. And I think the 3 fireside chats will give you a lot of opportunities to start imagining what kinds of solutions we are looking for and what kinds of solutions you would be able to propose related to the 3 topics. So I think we don't want to sort of spoon feed all of you. The purpose of this certification program is basically to give you an opportunity, give you all an opportunity to do some blue sky thinking on your own. That said, if you have any specific questions, again, please feel free to write to us at peak@mtnsystems.com or put your questions on Slack. And so, in fact, we encourage you to put this sort of constructive questions on Slack, which would allow all of you to sort of learn together. So learning is also about learning together. Yeah, Meghna?
Thank you. Thank you. We have a question from Biswadeep Acharya, whether the research work that they do will actually get a chance to get published.
So for research to be published, what one really needs to do is one needs to spend a lot of time on that. Okay, so this is only like a 2 or 3 weeks initiative. And as I mentioned earlier, we expect to launch similar topics during the coming year. So for you to publish this sort of in a peer-reviewed scientific journal, you probably may not be ready to do so. But if you want to write a small blog for your college magazine, or if you want to write a small short essay and publish it in some sort of print media and so on, I think we encourage you. So even if you want to sort of beyond this particular course, if you want to get in touch with us to seek our guidance in understanding how do you really write a blog, or if you write a simple article for your college magazine. If you want us to take a quick look and give you comments, feel free to send it over to us. So you definitely would have some publication opportunities, and those publication opportunities is basically for you to either deep dive onto the same topic, work on this for the coming 2, 3, 4 months, deepen your knowledge, and then publish some kind of a research article or send it for some kind of a peer-reviewed research journal publication. Or you can write a blog, as I mentioned, and you can just put it out in your college magazine or some other simple media.
Thank you.
Meghna?
Thank you. Thanks. So we have a question from Yagya Sharma about they want to understand a little more about the video submission for their proposal.
Okay, so Meghna, do you want to
Sure.
describe what it means? Yeah, please.
Sure, absolutely. So Yagya, the video submission is just another way for you to submit the proposal. So basically the idea is here, in addition to the template where you will receive guidelines on what exactly you need to answer and what kinds of information you need to input into the sheet. This is an opportunity for you to share your thoughts, or if you have any rationale or reasons behind why you have chosen to solve the problem a particular way. This is your chance to explain it. Video is just another mode of communication, which some people prefer. So that's the intent behind the video submission. So we have another question from Abhishek Soni from RGPV University. How will this help me get jobs? I think this is a burning question in everyone's mind. So I think.
Right. Okay. So basically, what we are trying to do here is that this question will go through the minds of those who are coming into the job market, even now, right? Now, what we are trying to do here is that we are trying to get you somewhat of a head start to start facing the interview panels and start appearing for take the multiple choice questions, and quite a few placement procedures require some small tests to be taken, and those tests will sort of take you to the next phase of interviews and so on. So this is an opportunity for you to make most of it. These are the 3 topics that you have available, you have the material available for, and then you will be submitting some kind of a solution to what of the business problems that we have defined. So I think here is your opportunity to go through this process. There is a timeline associated with this. We have made available a lot of material to you. So again, how do you sort of deal with that? How do you read that? How do you screen that? How do you come up with specific solutions related to one of these topics? That's basically will give you an opportunity to go through some of the stressful moments, right? I would do it and to complete the multiple choice questions right away. I want to do some kind of a video recording, which is voluntary at this stage and optional at this stage, but please do sort of think of doing that. So this will make you job ready from the content point of view, as well as the procedural point of view of going through the multiple choice questions and the submissions and through a PowerPoint and so on. Meghna?
Thank you. I think Darshana Chauhan from Ferguson College, I think your question was very similar to this one. So I hope this has answered your question. Neeraj Jadhav wants to understand how we're going to proceed and whether you're going to get a link like today, every day. Neeraj, yes, whenever there are live sessions or whenever there are YouTube premieres, you will be sent a link via email and on the Slack channel, so you will know well in advance about what is going to be happening. Nisar Graval wants to understand what are the kind of questions that will be there in the MCQs.
Right. So the MCQ questions, obviously, we're not going to tell you what we're going to ask you, right? So we don't want to do that. But the questions will be, I would say, simple enough, but it will test your fundamental knowledge. So there are going to be questions related to the research methodology, module that you will go through tomorrow, and there will be questions related to one of the topics that you choose. And those will sort of just strengthen your understanding. We just would like to understand if you're appreciating what it takes to say install solar photovoltaic systems. Would India have any kind of targets? Are we meeting our targets, so on and so forth? So those will be like basic questions that would be asked of you if you try to face any kind of job interview. So that's the purpose. Our purpose is not to make you solve arithmetic equations and mathematical equations and do integration and calculus. That's not the intent. The intent is to test what you learn through this short certification program, and if you have understood the basics of these three topics. So that's what the multiple choice questions would include. Meghna?
Thank you. Shreya Pandey wants to know if we can attach a link on the Peak and Systems page. So Shreya, we will put this on the Slack channel as well. It's the website address for the Peak page. There you will see, as I have demonstrated, all the information about each of the topics as well. Ishita Gupta wants to understand how the research projects will be used.
So I believe your question is how this solution that come about would be used by us. When we using the solutions, what we would like to do is we'd like to create some kind of a summary report which we'd like to put out anonymously on peakglobal.live website. If you would like to be recognized as the author of some of that solution, we encourage you to let us know. I will be glad to identify you as the person who came up with that solution for the public transportation post-COVID-19 era as a problem statement. So we would like to give you the visibility as well. This is not a contest. If this were a contest, what we would have done is the top 3 entries we would have put out for the public consumption. But at the same time, to give you some visibility based on your consent, we will be glad to include the list of those who got the certification on the Peak landing page itself.
Thank you. Ishita Gupta also wants to understand how we can register on Slack. It requires an invitation link. Ishita, I think once you have registered, you should be getting an email on how to go about this. But we do request you to please put this on the Slack channel where one of our colleagues will definitely help you with this. Deepa Yadav wants to know if we can provide a link for the resources. So Deepa, once you actually register on the event, on the website, in the resources tab, you will have access to all the resources there. Neeraj Jadhav, where will we get the reading list? Same on the Peak website. Saleh Muskan wants to understand when the MCQ test is. So the MCQs will be sent to you around the 5th or 6th of August. I will confirm the date with you shortly. We have a question from Atif Ramani on the registration issues. So Atif, once you have registered on Eventbrite, you will get an email from Peak, which guides you both to the website and to the Slack channel. If you have any issues in accessing this, please do let us know on Slack and we will address that immediately. So the website is peakglobal.live. We will put that address on Slack as well, so you have access to it. So I think those were the main questions that we had from all our viewers today. This video will be recorded and will be available for you to view later as well. If you do have any other questions that we haven't covered today, please feel free to use the Slack channel or write into us. We definitely do encourage you to visit and subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Twitter handle, the LinkedIn page, and our Facebook page as well. Please do feel free to write to us, and we hope you have a wonderful certification program. Dr. Mahesh, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm sure our students have a better understanding of this certification program. And
yeah, thank you, Meghna. So good luck to all the students. Please do communicate with us. Again, just to repeat the email ID, speak@mpsystems.com, as well as put your questions on Slack, and we will answer those as soon as we can. If you have any problems related to the registration and so on, please do write to our colleagues, Sahir and Sanket and Karishma, with your email IDs, and they will try to solve your problems as soon as they can again. So good luck, everyone, and have a great day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mahesh, and thank you all our students, and good luck with the certification program. Goodbye.